Hello, good evening, welcome. This is Ghana Tonight. We're live from a news hub at Desawe Kanda, also live on Q3 Ghana on Facebook, DSTV channel 279, all across the world on 3news.com. I am Alfred Ocansey. Tonight, Gadangbe youth demand the immediate reconstruction of the La General Hospital, which was demolished in 2020 by the government for a new project, but has since not started. Tonight, we show you how the site looks like from the skies and speak to the Dangbe youth and council. Stay with us here on Ghana Tonight. Also, the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana, Justice Eni Yeboah, retires in May, and President Kufuor is expected to name a successor. What's the process and what has the convention been over the period? We seek some education tonight on the show. Workers also of the Tamale Refinery are up in arms against management with accusations of incompetence and demanding answers what the future of the company holds. We engage experts on what the real issues confronting the Tamale Refinery are. Stay with us here. We'll get into it, and you should be interested in this because you know what? You are paying for the debts of the Tamale Refinery. And I'm going to show you how in a minute, but connect with us here on Ghana Tonight on Facebook and Twitter. The hashtag is Ghana Tonight. Let's get talking. Well, let's settle for Ghana Briefs. The Civil and Local Government Staff Association of Ghana has agreed to the new deal offered by the Finance Ministry to its pension funds on the Alternative Domestic Debt Action Program. Executive Secretary of CLOCSAG, Isaac Bampoado, disclosed this in an interview.
This is for the Hedge Master Trust Occupational Pension Scheme established by Civil and Local Government Staff Association, CLOCSAG. Right. We have analyzed it, and it meets our requirements. Others too have to analyze it, and it depends on the sort of investment portfolio that they have. We, based on our investment portfolio, we can meet all our cash requirements.
President Kufuor has reiterated government's resolve to work with other African countries to become self-sufficient and reliant in vaccine manufacturing hubs on the continent, so as to win itself from foreign geopolitics. He made the observation at the groundbreaking ceremony for the construction of a €5 million EU-supported grant vaccine manufacturing centre at Media in the Ga East municipality of the Greater Accra region.
We want to achieve self-sufficiency in vaccine production to meet future national, regional and continental needs for health security. We shall not then in the future be at the mercy of foreign vaccine nationalism and geopolitics.
The Gadangbe youth are demanding the immediate reconstruction of the La General Hospital, among other issues from government. The group, which poured out onto the streets to protest the continuous abandonment of the hospital project, have given government 2 weeks to respond favorably to their petition.
You demolished the place only to come and tell us that there's no money. They have carried all the materials away.
Workers of the Tamale Refinery want government to revamp the refinery to help save the country from its current economic challenges. The aggrieved workers have threatened to picket at the presidency and engage in a series of protests if government fails to heed to their demands. Judgment on the murder of the former Member of Parliament for the Boaka North constituency, J.B. Dankwa Edu, is likely to further delay after a revelation from the judge, Her Ladyship Lydia Osemafo, that the jury had not been paid their allowances since March 2022. She was delivering a judgment on a mini trial after the substantive trial was put on hold.
You brought competent people here. They understand that control is a management function, and so they will put controls in place to make sure that the ordinary worker is more efficient and prudent in his decision. Once you bring incompetent board and incompetent management, this is the result you will get. And so the appointer of these executives, the appointers of this top management at the refinery must sit up. It should not be political expediency. They should not bring people here as a reward of political actions they did during campaign. You brought competent people here. They understand that control is a management function, and so they will put controls in place to make sure that the ordinary worker is more efficient and prudent in his decision. Once you bring incompetent board and incompetent management, this is the result you will get.
So this is the result you get. The worker is referring to is the Tema refinery. These are the workers of the Tema refinery talking about incompetence and others. You know what? The dwindling and if you want to call it the hopeless fortunes of the Tema refinery should not be the worry of the workers of Tor alone. It should concern all of us. And I'll tell you why. Listen. This refinery that was built as far back as, what, 1960? Way before we discovered oil in commercial quantity in 2007 and started commercial production in 2010 of crude oil. The time when we need the refinery to refine the crude that God has blessed us with. Leadership has successfully run down the refinery. Now we are importing finished products under this gold for oil deal. Here's why you should be concerned. And you and I are actually paying for the debts of Tor. And I'm going to show it to you. Take a look at this. This is the price build-up. You see, when you go to the fuel station to go and buy petrol or diesel, there are about 12 taxes on each liter of petrol or diesel that you buy. One of the taxes is the energy sector levy. That's what you see there. The energy sector or the energy, that's you see, the energy sector recovery levy is actually the SIF. So you have a number of them there. The energy debt recovery levy, the road fund levy, the energy fund levy, price stabilization and recovery levy, sanitation and pollution levy. This was introduced when COVID. The government said they needed money. They put a new tax on petrol. It's one of the easiest ways of raising revenue. And then you have the energy sector recovery levy. That is where the Tor recovery debt levy is in. It's part of the energy sector debts. So this Tor recovery debt levy, it never reduces. Even though we actually pay every year, it keeps increasing because every time you go to the pumps to buy, you are paying the debt of Tor. But if you look at the figure over time, the debt actually increases. And we have not been told, for instance, how much the Tor recovery debt levy that we pay when we buy fuel accrues over a year and how much has been paid and why the debt keeps increasing. Then government said it has identified a strategic partner to help revive the fortunes of Tor. They settled on this one. That is Decimal Capital Limited. After Vitol and others put in a bid. So take a look at this. Decimal Capital Limited was selected, and these were the things that Decimal was supposed to do. We were supposed to ensure that Tor refines 45,000 barrels of crude oil a day. And also, the Tor indebtedness, the Tor debt, was to be included in the negotiations with Decimal Capital. Then, Decimal Capital was also to provide funding for the first phase to bring crude oil distillation unit, that's the CDU, at Tor, back on stream. These were the details of this strategic partners engagement. That's a Decimal Capital Limited with government. We haven't heard much about this strategic partner and the current state of affairs with this particular arrangement or this partnership. The energy minister has to give Ghanaians the needed detail and update on this. As if that's not enough, then government started this gold for oil program, which involved our gold being used to buy finished products, petrol and diesel into this country. Or another component of the gold for oil program was to use cash fiscal cash to buy oil. Remember the first consignment that came, there was a news that we use cash to buy instead of gold. Then Andre Japamesa came to explain that, look, this gold for oil program is in two components. We're using gold and we're using cash. So far, what we know is that this is a fraction of petrol and diesel that have been brought into the country under this Go for Oil program since we started tracking. So far, this is what we do know. In January, we had diesel not coming through, about 41,000 barrels of diesel came through. Then we had, in February, 30,000 metric tons of petrol, and then 42,000 metric tons of diesel came through in February. Then in March, we had 37,000 metric tons of petrol coming in under this Go for Oil program and 42,000 metric tons of diesel. In fact, when we checked, a few more metric tons have come in after this whole Go for Oil program started. All right, the question is, if government is spending so much money or gold to bring finished products, as I've showed you, and this is information you can find on the National Petroleum Authority, NPA. You go there, you find it. They confirm this to you, that we are buying finished products, petrol, diesel, with gold or cash into this country under this Gold for Oil program. So what is the plan to revive the fortunes of Tor, to start refining the crude oil that we have, or we've been blessed with? So far, there's no plan. That's why you see the workers demonstrating. Stay with me. We'll get more into this matter, but right after this quick break, we have coming up next the issues relating to the La General Hospital. Coming up next, we're getting to that particular issue tonight. And we have a member of the Gadangbe youth joining us. They're making demands of government to construct the demolished La General Hospital. They didn't give us access to the hospital site, so we got access through the skies. We will tell you what the state of affairs is with the reconstruction of the La General Hospital per what we found. That's what you see there. Stay with me. We have a lot more of the videos of the current state of affairs at the La General Hospital site from the skies. We'll be back shortly. Stay with us. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint as compared to other paint brands on the market. We take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, one bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
Everybody knows Acrobato. And if you know Acrobato, it means you know M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic is my pillar. Let's hear what others are saying about M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. Who will be careful M-Punch one?
Chesena me ankasa me period no say problems wom ntina ma wo ho idea ma me papa chesena nya asem ketewa na me coin point no mo hwe me mogam no mo hwe bibia na so mo meduro me fire no ene ma won kra mienu hofro kwa na mkwan mu a eba head everything yourself me ma me no adwodwo eda ho a wontumi nante ene ne ko end point o mama nuru a ene ne ho idea watimi asori anante. That's end point for you.
Roberto,
hello.
Hey, ohwehwe what che
Okay,
a free bra wo di end point wa dance am me call you no me Joseph Sema na nkoyie e person na my emre nyina na magina sebema na me be fie for there e ho na nyina jaresa.
You heard everything. I have secret. M-Punch is my secret. M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. I'm free.
Die aje dwedie nkratwe yatum At long last, Blue Jays Vodka makes a bummer kit. Blue Jays Vodka makes Numbi a fine.
Look, the guys are chilling with Blue Jays Vodka mix. Wow!
Numbi a tasty.
Can we join you guys? We are all single. Yeah. Fun.
Blue Jays Vodka mix a day. Taste me a kama. Enjoy the unique taste of Blue Jays Vodka Mix. Blue Jays Vodka Mix. Numbi a fine.
Blue Jays Vodka Mix. Blue Jays Vodka Mix.
Numuni nyansem. Wonton manimpa woni mfie don wotwe. Ensesa apemfo no.
Last year was massive. This year, it will be the bomb. Tour du Ghana, the ultimate cycling event in the sports calendar, happening on the 20th and 21st of May 2023. Confirm your participation. Registration fee is 200 Ghana cedis for single riders, while 100 Ghana cedis goes for clubs with 10 riders or more. Your registration comes with personal accident cover, accommodation, feeding, and transportation. Start point of the tour is from the West Hills Mall, SCC to the Takrady Mall, and from Takrady to the Cape Coast Chapel Square. For more details, contact 0244 893758 or 0546 063 747. Tour du Ghana, happening on the 20th and 21st of May 2023. Be part of the excitement.
When it comes to the world of sports, what does complete mean to you?
When my team scores at the end of a 30-plus passing sequence, just like Pep Guardiola style.
When someone beats the buzzer with a shot from the logo, like Steph Curry.
Dominating opponents and punching my waist to a knockout, like Africa's greatest boxer, Azuma Nelson.
Running so fast that I can afford to celebrate midway through a 100-meter race and smash the world record like Usain Bolt.
Hold up. What makes all of these sports complete is the screen. This is where you get access to all the extensive highlights, analysis, and insights. So do join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. live on 3FM 92.7 as we serve you the best sports buffet and most satisfying in the sports world. The 3 Sports team will come together to review, preview, and analyze the latest in the sports world here on Sports Ultras.
Well, welcome back. This is Ghana Tonight. We're live on 2-3 Ghana on Facebook. In August 2020, President Akufo-Addo cut the sword for the redevelopment of the La General Hospital. Now, listen to what he said and reason that necessitated the demolition of the hospital at the time and what was going to be done. Take a look.
This redevelopment project has been occasioned by a report from the Ghana Health Service, which indicated that the 5-story structure of the hospital had developed gaping cracks which made the facility unfit for use. Furthermore, the unplanned nature of the entire hospital campus required that it be reorganized so that it can function efficiently as a 21st century hospital, which will serve the needs of residents of La and its adjoining communities. This facility, in so many ways, complements the Greater Accra Regional Hospital at Ridge, and its upgrading will serve most people from Osu through La and Teshi, as well as residents living along the coastal corridor of Accra. This redevelopment project is being financed by a credit facility from the Standard Chartered Bank of the United Kingdom with an export credit guarantee from Sinosure of the People's Republic of China to the tune of 68 million euros with an insurance cover of 3,860,000 euros. I'm reassured by the declaration of the contractor's representative that this project will be delivered on schedule and it will be beautiful and functional.
So that was the president in 2020, expressing the hope that within the set period of 2 years, the La General Hospital would have been reconstructed. And you heard the reasons that he gave. So, Ni Adote Odawulu, the first, is a Gandangbe youth leader and one of the conveners of today's protest. And he's with us in the studio. Ni, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, sir.
You heard the president?
Yes.
So, what was the state of the hospital before it was demolished? Because I've heard a number of you say that the hospital was okay and people were attending to health care and it was demolished. The president said it had developed gaping cracks, unfit for use, unplanned nature of the hospital itself. What's your verdict?
Yes, very well. Thank you very much for the opportunity, and I want to thank you for this time. Well, it's true. In as much as we believe there were some gaping cracks, there were some issues. We were told, almost 3 years down the line, that there were funds which has been reallocated from the Standard Chartered UK and all those things. And up to now, nothing has been done.
In fact, the president said that yes, some funding from Standard Chartered Bank.
Yes, nothing has been done.
68 million.
And our people from La, Teshin, Osu, and environs, where did they go to hospital? It's a problem. If there's an emergency, you have to go to 37 hospital, and I don't think it's the best thing to do. We are facing a lot of challenge. It's not only the La General Hospital. There are other issues. For instance, there is a market which was demolished. That's like a market. And when it gets to its election time, something will be done, and then all of a sudden it has been abandoned.
Okay, so between 2020, the La General Hospital was demolished,
yes,
and now, what's the rate of work at the site? When do you see people going to the site to work?
I can tell you that there's nothing happening there.
There's nothing happening.
It's like a mini okra farm, which is, ongoing there. And it's a problem.
Okra farm?
Yes, it is a problem. Because somebody is planting okra on the field.
Somebody is planting okra?
Yes.
On the land that's supposed to be used for
the hospital.
The La General Hospital?
Yes.
Wow.
You know, and La General Hospital serves people from Nungwa, Teshin, Osu, La. You know, about 4 different towns. And this is very important.
And somebody is planting okra on the
Yes, nothing is happening there. You can send your crew there. And it will attest to you that nothing is happening.
Okay, you know what? Just to put a confirmation to this. When we went there earlier today, there are some guards there. They didn't allow us access into the place. And look, this is public state land. So we decided that, you know what, if you're not giving us access through the gates, you can't stop us in the skies. So we've had to fly a drone. So we're going to put the drone shots up on there, and then you'll find out how the details as we had it.
Very well.
Indeed. So this is the state of affairs and how things are going on now. And you say that per your own observation, you haven't seen anything happening.
No, nothing is happening
there. And you don't see any work on site, the contractor. So there was supposed to be a contractor who was supposed to be on site.
The contractor only came to clear the place, and that's it.
He came to clear the place?
Yes. Heap the gravels at one particular place and left it.
I see. So this is it?
Yes, this is how it is. Nothing. Since it was demolished. Almost 3 years down the line. And it's a problem. You know, you see, La General Hospital play a major role within that environs. I can say that about 4 different towns, Nungwa, Theshin, La, and Osu itself, is more than even a polyclinic. So the issue is that if this thing has just been dressed down to ground zero and nothing is happening, at least, if there was even a makeshift opportunity or makeshift, let's say, room that is maybe being used to take care of people, we know that at least something has been done. But this one, nothing.
So this is not the first time you have asked questions of government about this project. The last time you asked questions, what did they tell you? What did the health ministry say to you?
Well, what came out was that, okay, fine. As of now, the funds itself was not available. And based on the structural report that they had earlier, and it's things, they have to reorganize themselves. So I asked myself, okay, fine. If the funds wasn't ready by then to demolish it, I mean, why don't people were already going there? I mean, it could have still been managed, and nothing has been done.
I say we'll actually do a quick recall of what the minister said, but let me bring Nia Iko in. He is Ghana's immediate past High Commissioner to Canada, a former Attorney General of the Republic of Ghana. He is the president of the Gandangbe Council. Nia Iko, thank you so much for joining us on Ghana Tonight on Zoom. We saw some of the placards during this demonstration, clear messages, but at this time, what do you want from government urgently about this particular General Hospital case?
Oh, I don't know why you are limiting it to La General Hospital. We have the placards speak for themselves. All the issues that were worrying us, we have put down. La General Hospital is only one of the issues. The point they are raising is that the thing was working all right until it was demolished in the hope that we're going to get a new one. And since the demolition, nothing has happened yet. And so the people have nowhere to go to deal with their health issues. That is a matter of a great source of concern. That is what we are talking about. No, it's not only one. The issues are many.
All right. Ni, I would want you to sit back a bit for me while you do that so we can see you fully. But let's take a listen to the health minister when he was last asked about this La General Hospital issue and what the current state of affairs is. This is the answer he gave at a press conference or the Meet the Press some months ago. Take a look. And in fact, this issue actually came up again in Parliament as well when he was asked the same question about the La General Hospital. I want us to take a listen to the minister, and we'll come back to you, Nyagotu.
Mr. Speaker, all those things were done before we sent His Excellency to do the sword cutting. But after the sword cutting, they decided to do some extra work on the place. And they realized that we still needed to do some more work. Mr. Speaker, this is not the only site where we are seeing this. I can refer you to what is happening in Konfanochi. Mr. Speaker, Konfanochi, we did sword cutting, handed over sites to the contractors. They went in there to try to do what we have signed for them to do. When they started, they tested again, and structural integrity came out to say that they should have to look at the building properly again. Other than that, there might be problems ahead of us. We sent our consultants there with the contractors' consultants, and the eventual thing was the fact that that building cannot last the test of time, so it should be pulled down. So in construction, you might finish doing everything that you want to do, but when you begin to actually dig and do some extra work, and you see that you need to do some extra work, I think our construction management will allow you to continue to actually do that work more efficiently than was done earlier. Mr. Speaker, the little problem we have in the ministry is the fact that the contractor is insisting that not until Sanusho issues the insurance cover, they cannot move the site. And therefore, Finance Ministry has been informed, they are engaging, and the indication is that that problem will soon be resolved. And since the ministry does not control that activity, it will be difficult for me to give a very specific point in time. All I can say is that it will be very soon.
That's the health minister. He said it will be very soon. Has anything changed? This was in 2021.
No,
this
nothing has been
this
changed.
video, we just
nothing has changed. It's still the same.
So he says that the contractor said they needed the insurance of 3.8 million euros before they would move to site.
And like I'm saying, nothing has changed. It's still the same. It's still a bare land or a graded land, which nothing has been added to it. It's just the land that was graded, no addition of anything to it, and it's a problem.
Well, see, so you had the minister there, and he's saying that, well, until this is tackled, they don't have much to do. I want to speak to what the minister just said. This we got to know in 2021. This was the answer that he gave.
No, not at all. Meanwhile, we see that the Agenda 11 projects are ongoing in the interland. They bring us video clips of so many hospitals and health facilities coming up under the Agenda 111. So why demolish a healthy institution which was performing and then promise that you're going to rebuild it,
right?
Only to abandon it, and the people are angry because it doesn't make sense to them. It's not only that we have issues like the Accra Sempe schools. The school was there, all right, and then they decided to renovate it and turn it into other, stories. And then they got somewhere and they just stopped. The children who attend all those schools are now struggling, finding other places to go. Not only that, they have the same problem with the Salaga markets. That is the trading places for many women. It's been demolished, and up to now, nobody has bothered to reconstruct it. These are quite a number of issues. How do you expect the people to look after their children and find food on the table when they have no place to work? So there are quite a number of issues. It's not, but you are Gadangwe, and I don't know how many times you have heard any Dangwe being spoken anywhere, or you have gone to church and you've seen a preaching taking place in Accra in Ghana language or Dangwe language, and even when they finish, they don't have the courtesy to translate it, to interpret it into the Ghana language for those who are Ghanaians, but they just assume that everybody. This is a problem for all of us. People like Evans Mensah, people like Israel Lai, people like Papani Ashali, people like you, Gadangwe, and others. It should not be our problem, one man's problem. But we should be talking about it constantly to draw people's attention to what is happening.
I see. And, well, in the end, it's just about the General Hospital. Niagoto has brought in a number of things. But I want to end this specifically. And there's a trade fair as well, which is an issue which we're keeping an eye on quite closely. The trade fair site that has been demolished, we don't really know exactly what plan. Have you been given any updates as to?
For that one, we don't know. But I also want to add something to what Honorable Ekutu said. Students who learn or who are in an institution where they learn Ghana language, okay, after they are finished their education, then you see them being transferred to regions where they cannot even teach the Gadangbe there. What are we doing? Are we trying to stifle the few who have learned the language?
Okay,
it's a problem.
Indeed, and so for the benefit of our listeners and the viewers, help us appreciate really how dire the situation is, the absence of a hospital in that central part of the Ghana state, and how this is impacting on the people or the adjoining towns within the area.
Like I said earlier, I want to reiterate and say that it is very, very critical facility that shouldn't have been demolished if the president or if the government were not ready to build it up. Because the issue is that this is more or less a center hospital which is serving Nungwa, Teshin, La, Osu itself. Three different towns, 3 different traditional councils.
Nungwa, Teshin, La, Osu. You have people coming all the way
to La General Hospital. And all of a sudden, boom, you just demolish it. Like they say, if you want to really put out something, you cost it. You go into your closet. You know how much it's going to cost. And then you do it. But if the thing is just demolished, and then whilst we're expecting, and then there's a problem.
So what do you want to do next?
Well, we are pleading with the government that since there is this Agenda 111, and if the funds for this particular general hospital is not ready, I mean, they can channel some of this money into this very project.
You mean the Agenda 111?
The Agenda 111, because it's also an hospital, because the president says Agenda 111 is part of the hospital project that they are putting up. And if they channel their energies there, I think we can get a befitting hospital for the people of Nungwa, Teshin, La, and Osu.
So, near equal to the answer to what's going to happen next with La General Hospital lies with government. You are a member of the NPP, and in fact, an immediate past High Commissioner of Ghana to Canada, right? So, what are you going to do with your influence and also membership of this administration to help get answers to this particular situation?
Yes, the problem is one of advocacy. That's the issue. The issue, is one of advocacy. We cannot compel anybody to do anything, but we can continue to demonstrate and pickets. For example, there's this issue that Ghana teachers are deliberately sent outside the Greater Accra region and therefore have no opportunity to teach the Ghana language. And those in Accra use it as excuse that we don't have Ghana teachers, so we cannot teach. I'm thinking of our people going to pickets at the Ministry of Education to compel them to bring back all those people they have sent away. This can also be done. So it's just piling pressure on governments. Those are the things that we can best do.
Right.
We were in this country until 2000. When they started giving frequencies to account radio stations, although the people operate in Accra, no attempt was made to ask them to allot or allocate some percentage of their broadcasts in the Gandangbe language. But they insist that if you want to speak Ghana, don't come there. Okay. You TV, you this, you that. That is what they are doing. You cannot go on that program unless you want to speak Tree. How on earth can such a thing go on? And we are watching.
Well,
and we have been asking for frequencies so we can also speak our language, and nobody is minding us.
So, well, and please take this up as well as being a member of this government or a former member of this government, because everything still rises and falls. The answers you are looking for is with government, correct?
Yes, like to add to what Honorable Aikuitu said. Right. We are appealing to the wife of the president because the wife of the president is a Ghana. Okay. And we want to appeal, and then we know definitely we'll see
how things play out. Ni Aikuitu, a former Attorney General and the president of the Gandangbe Council. Ni, thank you so much for your time, and also to you, Ni Adote Odawolu, the first Sempe Muslim Akwa Shongche, and the chief convener of Arise Gandangbe Youth. Thank you. You have a long title. Anyway, but thank you so much for coming. Appreciate it. But up next, workers of the Tamari Refinery up in arms against management, demanding answers, asking what the plans of the company really are. Stay with us. We're getting to it right now.
People here, they understand that control is a management function, and so they will put controls in place to make sure that the ordinary worker is more efficient and prudent in his decision. Once you bring incompetent board and incompetent management, this is the result you will get. And so the appointer of these executives, the appointers of this top management at the refinery must sit up. It should not be political expediency. They should not bring people here as a reward of political actions they did during campaign.
All that they keep on telling us is that they are on it, they are waiting for some information, they are sending information to the presidency to look at it. They keep on giving us stories. Our members are even losing trust in us. Our destiny is in our hands. There is a lot of problem with us. We can't pay our children's school fees. We can't feed our family. And as we've said, a lot of people are leaving the refinery.
Tour is our life. Tour ntina ye wa ha mo tour egua tour ye workers permanent workers wa ha ye contract workers wa ha ye national service wa all the hardship ye go through cry no still no yetimi je national service for any omo eye adwuma wa ha ye try ye light money ade na. This is not what we bargained for.
Well, these are workers of the Tamale refinery. Certainly, that's what they bargained for. And the foundation that I laid earlier on exactly how the fortunes of TOR have been over the last few years gone by with this strategic partner that was chosen. Benjamin Boache is energy governance professional and executive director of the Africa Center for Energy Policy, connecting with us on Zoom. So Boache, thank you so much for joining us on Ghana Tonight. So tell me, what was the last time Tamale refinery refined crude oil? From what did you know?
That has been a while. Pretty much more than a year. I think it's been a struggle even getting a leader for such an important institution. So it's not been refining for some time. I don't know the exact date.
I see.
But it's been more than a year.
Interesting. So, well, you know what? The workers, and you just saw the videos of the workers there, they are demanding answers from government. What is the status of this TOR strategic partnership with Decimal Capital Limited, which was to lead TOR to turn around the fortunes of that refinery?
Yeah, I think, this demand is long overdue. I understand those who were pushing the recent transaction that we heard about are not available to continue. We don't know what the back-end details are. But be it as it may, I mean, government at all times need to be in a position to ensure that such a strategic asset is functional and delivering value for the people of Ghana. And to see such infrastructure lie waste, and other policy decisions that further undermine the operations of TOR are being championed, it really questioned, the kind of leadership that we have on, defending some of us, in the public space without financing. I mean, we have paid as citizens billions of cedis, to be able to bring TOR back in the past, 15 years through TOR debt recovery levy. TOR has become one of the entities where the more the debt you pay, the higher it goes. So we keep paying and the debt accumulates. And essentially, these are the reason why the debt accumulates, because you have staff and they are increasing by the day, they are recruiting. And at the same time, there is nothing to really keep the numbers as they are. And beyond that, also the inefficiencies are enormous. People store their products, they get lost, and then the state has to find money to pay for it. I mean, the level of inefficiency is unacceptable. I don't think that any minister, any government official will see his or her own company go down the way we have let TOR to go. So I think really it's about leadership, and perhaps also poor citizenship, and all of us, poor journalism, everybody Because we do the news and ultimately we let go and then wait for the next cycle of the news. And citizens are not angry enough to demand that what we are paying for is actually put to good use. So they always come for the levy and abuse it, and then end of story, the cycle continues.
And well, you talk about the cycle continue and citizens, well, guess what? We are paying for the levy, and as you indicated, the debt keeps going up. Nobody is accounting to the people exactly how much this debt has accrued. I mean, and how much this levy that we're paying has also accrued. So what exactly is the missing link here? And that's what the Ghanaian people want to find out.
Absolutely. We are still paying for it. And the sad reality is that even today, the levy is not enough to be able to pay off the debt, because the debt keeps rising, it keeps accumulating. If you're not servicing it as you should, then you have it growing, all right? So that is part of the reason why we are where we are today, because it's part of the energy sector debt. And as it keeps growing, the burden on the state also escalates. And there are new options to try and address that kind of situation. So that's really the reality. And even as we speak, I don't know how TOR's operation will sit with other policy interventions. I mean, such as the new gold for oil policy, which ties Ghana essentially to the imports of refined products. So if government is looking to import product as, you know, the option for domestic supply, how does refining come in? And it's not just TOR. We have other refineries that are coming up. Centio Refinery, which is going to do about 40,000 plus barrels a day. They are hoping to do 100,000 barrels, creating jobs. And suddenly, our focus is on import, all right? So with that kind of policy orientation, who even want to put in money into Ghana? Because you want to invest, and the next second, the policy has shifted to undermine the investment that you have done, or Absolutely. The dollar that you have pumped into the economy. So that is a very dicey situation, even for whoever may be interested in ensuring that TOR actually functions. And recently also, we even saw that OTCs are now being given license to also undermine the local businesses, the BDCs, that have been supplying products onto the market. So it means that at all times, the imported product will compete much more aggressively with any attempt to refine on the domestic market. And we do know that there are more efficient, more economically viable projects, not just across us, but even from Europe, that can bring in products cheaper than what we can do on our market. So the policy orientation really makes it difficult for even attain the demand of the workers at this point.
So, but you know what, just for the benefit of our viewers, help us appreciate exactly how this Gold for Oil program is going to impact on the fortunes of Tema Refinery going forward. Hello, Mr. Bachi.
I think the Gold for Oil program, as we have indicated, is just a political tool for people to make money. And once they are the ones with power and authority to regulate the space, that is what they will push for, right? And essentially, that is what is going to happen. Unless the demand is strong, unless the demand for accountability grows, we're not going to see any shift from that kind of policy. Essentially, nobody is buying gold, and yet we are talking about gold for oil. So how is the oil imported? Who is paying for it? That level of transparency is not available, right? And we are not demanding enough to know, what the implications of all of this is for Ghana, and to that extent, TOR. Even as we speak, you can check on the market. The BDCs are selling at a lower rate than what what BOST is doing with the gold for oil. So these kind of dynamics are going to make it difficult for TOR to actually be sustainable in this market.
Mr. Bachi, and finally, just for a quick one, what is the problem of the Tema refinery? Is it the lack of political will, the internal sabotage, or the political interference?
The lack of political commitment to allow Tor to work and to make it more a functional business, right? It's really political interest that runs it. People are appointed to go sit there without clear direction on what they should achieve or attain for the organization. They go and pile more debt and they leave, right? More people are recruited from the political class to go and sit there and essentially do nothing, right? So it is really the politics, and it comes down to the politics and nothing more. I don't think Ghanaians are, eternally incapable of managing the assets. It's the politics and the fact that there is no accountability. People can go do anything and get away with it. And until that changes, perhaps, as we have recommended before, the surest means will be to diversify majority interest in the business to allow the private sector to come in, right? So that we don't have to go through this cycle of, having people employed and the business not delivering value to the state and to all of us. And at the same time, we are paying. We're paying for Tor's debt that never, go away.
To pay. Mr. Wache, thank you. Appreciate your time. On Ghana Tonight, Ben Wache is Executive Director of the Africa Center for Energy Policy, ACEP. Before we go, the last conversation for tonight. Chief Justice, His Lordship Justice Kwesi Enin Yeboah retires in May, making way for the appointment of a new Chief Justice. But what is the process and what has been the convention over time? Well, the Chief Justice, Justice Kwesi Enin Yeboah, will be retiring from his position on May 24 as he hits the retirement age of 70 in accordance with Article 1441 of the 1992 Constitution. That's going to be on the screen shortly. The President will be expected to appoint a new Chief Justice in consultation with the Council of State. But what goes into the appointment of the Chief Justices and what has been the convention over the years? Let's establish the constitutional mandate of the Chief Justice and why this conversation is of extreme importance. Take a look at this. This is what we've gleaned so far. Article 1254 of the 1992 Constitution, and that's going to be on the screen shortly. That's what you see there. The Chief Justice shall, subject to the Constitution, be the head of the judiciary and shall be responsible for the administration and supervision of the judiciary. And in essence, the Chief Justice is number 4 in the scheme of things, or in the hierarchy of leadership of this country. So when it comes to appointment, Article 1441, take a look at Article 1441 of the Constitution. That's what you see there. The Chief Justice shall be appointed by the President, acting in consultation with the Council of State and with the approval of Parliament. These are the details as we have it. So what more do we indeed, beyond this, the conventions and also what is taken into consideration? Is it that the political or the ideological considerations in appointing the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana? Ni Bakpo Samoa Ado is a private legal practitioner. He's just connecting with us on Zoom for us. Ni, thank you so much for joining us on Ghana Tonight. So beyond the law that I've just put out there, are there other considerations that the appointing authority looks at in appointing the Chief Justice?
Also remember that the Chief Justice is a justice of the Superior Court.
Right.
Okay? And when we say Superior Court, we mean High Court, Court of Appeal, Supreme Court.
Right.
Okay, so first and foremost, the Chief Justice is the head of the judiciary. Okay? So that is the administrative function that the Chief Justice places, and that is in Article 1254. So Article 1254 says that the Chief Justice shall, subject to this Constitution, be the head of the judiciary and shall be responsible for the administration and supervision of the judiciary. Okay? And then if you look at Article 1281, it says that the Supreme Court shall consist of the Chief Justice and not less than 9 other justices of the Supreme Court. So the Chief Justice is first and foremost the head of the judiciary. That's an administrative rule.
Right.
But he or she is also a justice of the Supreme Court. And so the person must qualify, you understand, to sit as a justice of the Supreme Court. And if you look at Article 1284, it says that a person shall not be qualified for appointments as a justice of the Supreme Court unless the person is 1, of high moral character, 2, proven integrity, and 3, not less than 15 years standing as a lawyer. So
not less than 15
if
years.
you are talking about other things that have to be taken into account, then you are talking about issues of qualification. And if you are talking about qualification, then you have to go to Article 1284. And since the Chief Justice is a justice of the Supreme Court, it means that that person cannot be appointed as a Chief Justice if the person, 1, does not have high moral character, 2, proven integrity, and 3, not less than 15 years standing as a lawyer.
I see. Well, this is going to be the 3rd Chief Justice that President Akufo-Addo in his tenure is going to appoint. First, we had Sophia Akufo, then this current Chief Justice. So if he goes out, the 3rd Chief Justice. But what has been the convention over the years?
Exactly, because all the person needs to do is to qualify as a justice of the Supreme Court. So if you notice, when there have been instances where the persons who are appointed to the Supreme Court can come from academia, for example, or can be a practicing lawyer, right? Or can be a judge that is either on the High Court, Court of Appeal, or Supreme Court, who is promoted to the Supreme Court. And then when they're possible, because it's a position. The position of a Chief Justice is an office created by the Constitution. So what is important is whether the person qualifies first and foremost to be appointed to the Supreme Court. So obviously, if you are a lawyer and you are 14 years at the bar, you cannot qualify to be appointed as a justice of the Supreme Court. So obviously, you cannot be nominated by the president to be the Chief Justice. It will be unconstitutional. So first and foremost, the person must be a lawyer. The person must be a person of proven integrity. The person must be a person of high moral character. And the person must not be less than 15 years standing as a lawyer. Those are the 3 basic criteria. Nothing else is important except for these 3.
Does the seniority of the justices matter in the process of appointment? And that's become an issue because of conversations about some of the names that have come up as well as a possible replacement for Justice Kwesi Yeboah.
The nominating authority is the president. So the president, in his wisdom, will, and that's why he has to seek he has to consult the candidate. And he is not bound by the decision of the Council of State, but he has to consult. So the assumption is that, the architecture is that once he refers the matter to the Council of State, the Council of State is supposed to advise him.
Right.
And the Council of State will take a lot of things into account. Okay, because the Chief Justice's position is a very sensitive position. The person is head of the judiciary. He plays both a supervisory and an administrative oversight on the judiciary. The person is the chairperson of the General Legal Council.
Right.
The person is also the chairperson of the Judicial Council. So those are very, very important appointments and positions that the person holds. The person is 3rd in line when it comes to the hierarchy of our positions. You know that the president, then if the president, in the absence of the president, the Speaker of Parliament takes over. In the absence of the Speaker of Parliament, the Chief Justice becomes the acting president. You understand? So it is not correct. The only time is when issues of seniority will come in is when for one, and that you have to go to Article. You have to go to Article 1.
I see.
One. So the Supreme Court. You have to go to Article. Yes, you have to go to Article 1283. 1283. That one says that the Chief Justice are assigned as sittings of the Supreme Court, and in his absence. So when there's a Chief Justice, and Chief Justice may travel, medical review, go to another country, do other things. If the Chief Justice is not around or is absent, the most senior of the justices of the Supreme Court, as constituted, shall preside.
Right on. Nick, I thank you. And this is very important detail that Nick Bakpo Samuado is a private legal practitioner. Thank you so much for this. And this is early days yet. We'll see how the coming days will look like on this particular issue. Appreciate your time here on Ghana Tonight. On behalf of the rest of the team, join us same time tomorrow. I am Alfred Ocansey. Have a good night.
Ghana Tonight is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint. Superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage, simply superior.